Hey, how you doing? So I saw this interview with Kanye West, and I just want to say thank you very much, Kanye West, for going out, putting out that positive message, being that positive role model, that positive image, and letting everybody know that you can still make it even when you make mistakes. So I want to go on and analyze this interview because a lot of things happen that people keep missing. So let's go ahead. Let's run it.
Shoe salesman. His new album is called Yay. Please welcome Kanye West.
You see Kanye, he just regular. Look like a regular dude. I like how he be doing that. You saw they shook hands with each other and then he kind of gave that little look right there. I don't know, man. I don't know. I thought I saw something right there.
First of all, thanks for being here, and thank you for the shoes. Nobody ever brings me shoes. You brought me shoes. That's very nice of you, very kind. And I'll tell you a story, and this is honestly true. The last time, a few years ago,
I'll tell you a story, and this is honestly true. So I mean, right off the bat, there you go. You wanna go ahead and start. You know, Kanye West, he do a good deed. He's charitable. He give homeboy shoes, and now he tells story.
A pair of Yeezys. I have never in my life had more people come up and talk to me than when I was walking around in them, to the point where I was like, this is crazy. I got to get these off. People are chasing me. I'm worried people are going to beat me up and take these. Usually people wait they see them sleeping on the street waiting for these shoes. Is that for you more rewarding than?
So as you can see, he's basically, talking about these shoes, and he seems to be comparing them to like Jordans, and this vibe that he's giving off is, look what you did, Kanye West, you being all materialistic. Look what you did, Kanye West. Now you got people fighting with each other over your work. And that's how he just starts the interview out. You see what I'm saying? So right off the jump, you could see there's going to be some tension right then and there.
Hearing people say they like your music? Both. It's both art. Yeah. Sometimes it's like the thing you are accustomed to hearing, and you start hearing something else, and it's more exciting to hear something else, but not for you.
Yeah, when you go on new creative journeys, it is exciting for people to appreciate that.
Yeah.
Especially if people, didn't think that it was possible. Like when I started off.
Now you bringing up all the haters.
As an artist, I'm a visual artist. Like I went to art school,
right?
And I decided to start doing music, and people said it wouldn't work out. And then I started producing and selling beats, and I started selling beats to.
Now, I just want to put this out right here, right now, before we get farther in this. The liberals, the Democrats, they've always, loved to use identity politics. So take into mind that the people that are going to be watching this show, their mental process is going to be along the lines of identity politics. So right then and there, they're thinking, okay, this is a black dude. He made it. And everybody told him he couldn't do it.
Jay-Z, Rockefeller. And that started going well. And I said I wanted to rap. And people said that wasn't going to work. They had this term, producer rapper. It basically meant you wouldn't rap as good as the real rapper.
They want to downplay him like he or nothing.
That started working out. Then I said I wanted to design clothes.
They tried to make him a sidekick.
And that started working out.
What's the next? What is next for you?
Well,
Space Force?
Space Force. So he brought up that Space Force thing because he's sneaking in, Jimmy Kimmel, he's sneaking in the fact that Kanye West supports Trump. So he makes sure to get that in at the beginning of the interview because he's like, okay, well, look, Kanye West is going to make this an inspirational, type of interview. He's going to give people hope. All right, let me go ahead and make him look bad right quick. He supports Donald Trump, the Space Force.
You designed the uniforms for the Space Force. Is that something that you would do if President Trump asked you
downplaying
to do
Space
that?
Force.
I'm into designing.
Yeah.
I'm into design.
Why not? wife was here last week.
Nah, I don't know why he did that right then and there. Maybe Kanye got a little bit uncomfortable, or he was a little bit annoyed. If I was in Kanye West's shoes right there, I would have laughed a little bit. That'd been a little bit annoying though. You know what I mean? Because now they're trying to make a joke out of me. You know, I came here to do this interview, and come on now. No.
Somebody put a leash on him, will you?
Put a leash on him?
Your wife was here last week, and she's very nice, and she did something that I would imagine you're very proud of. She went to Washington, she spoke to the president, and she actually convinced him to grant clemency to a woman who got life in prison, like real life in prison, for a first-time drug offense. Was that something that you discussed with her before she did it?
Well, she's super passionate about it, and it was amazing for her to see that dream come true.
Were you ever concerned about her being alone in the Oval Office with President
Trump? Kim took the action to make that dream come true. Oh, there you go.
Well, he is a player.
You see how smooth Kanye did that? You know, he wanted to bring up that little tension right there, you know.
People got really mad when you were, some people were very happy when you said you liked President Trump. Do you think he is a good president?
So you saw how Jimmy corrected himself. He actually made a small mistake there. And first he was like, well, people got mad. He was like, oh, well, you know, some people got happy. Now, he might have intentionally made himself look like, okay, I made that mistake. Or he might have made that honest mistake. But I think he really kind of jacked up when he was interviewing Kanye right there. Because as you look at the context of this interview, you're going to see it seems like he's trying to put Kanye in a negative light.
You're going to ask me, can I answer the first question you're going to ask?
Answer whatever you want.
Well, you know, it's funny, you know, in this world that we live in, there's two main motivating forces, and I tweet about it all the time. It's love or fear. And you can't...
Love or fear. You know, so he ain't going to say God and devil or nothing like that. You know, because that's kind of where I come from with my whole Holy Bible and principles. But he gonna say love and fear.
Explain love. You know, my cousin is locked up for murder, and I love him.
So now he's showing unconditional love.
And
as an example,
just as a musician, African American, guy out in Hollywood, all these different things, you know, everyone around me tried to pick my candidate for me. Mm-hmm. And then told me every time I said I like Trump that I couldn't say it out loud or my career would be over. I'd get kicked out of the Black community because Blacks we're supposed to have a monolithic thought. We can only like.
So there go Kanye right then and there. He's like, okay, we haven't supposed to have monolithic thoughts. We're supposed to be all super tribal and all that stuff. Goes exactly along the same lines of Childish Gambino when he did his "This Is America" when I interpreted that song on my channel, you know. But he you know, same thing.
Democrats and all. So
they're trying to, you know, force him to be.
You know, when I said it right before
a certain person they wanted him to be,
and I expressed myself, and when I came out, I had lost my confidence. So I didn't have the confidence to take on the world and the possible backlash. And it took me a year and a half to have the confidence to stand up and put on the hat, no matter what the consequences were. And what it represented to me is not about policies, and because I'm not a politician like that, but it represented overcoming fear and doing what you felt, no matter what anyone said, and saying, you can't bully me. Liberals can't bully me. News can't bully me. The hip hop community, they can't bully me. Because at that point, if I'm afraid to be me, I'm no longer Ye. That's what makes Ye. And I actually quite enjoy when people actually are mad at me about certain things.
You must.
So, you know, when right then and there, he's talking about how it's important to be yourself. and this is this is kind of like a sideways attack against the being politically correct. Okay, he's not saying it directly, he's just saying it indirectly. attacking the whole issue of being politically correct. Nowadays everybody gotta be politically correct, but he's breaking that, and he ain't down with that.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. I actually quite enjoy it
because your wife was mad at you, right? I mean, according to your song.
Ooh. Okay, so first he's like, okay, look, I like making certain people pissed off, and I'm personally, I believe there's a spiritual war going on. I think Kanye is on God's side. Jimmy Kimmel, he's on the other dude's side. And straight up, that's just how I feel about it. But when Kanye said, I know it's pissing you off, I enjoy pissing certain people off, Jimmy Kimmel was like, yeah, you pissing me off. Let me bring your wife in it. And Kanye was like, they're like, well, hold up, my wife? Oh, hell.
Wife was upset about that.
Right or wrong, or even if I changed my mind about it or thought about it more, which I'm not saying I did, just place a thought out there that everyone's not thinking sometimes. Galileo, they want to chop his head off saying that.
You know what I'm saying?
The earth,
regardless of being right or wrong.
What do you say? The sun revolves
think
around
for yourself.
The earth,
put it out there.
Vice versa. So when you have modern,
but the sun,
futuristic,
but
I'm not concerned about the specifics, sir.
Right.
And you see how he shut that down right there? Because he knows that Jimmy's trying to kind of back him into a corner, and Kanye, he's just kind of moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Saying, look, you ain't gonna put me in this little box. You ain't gonna paint me in this certain image. So he's just being direct with it. He's like, look, you ain't gonna control this whole interview. I don't care about the specifics. The main point is, so he's getting control of the interview again. Everybody cheering him on. Jimmy don't like it. You can tell.
Do you ever regret anything you say, or is
just looking at him?
Just look
his
at
whole
it like,
body
hey,
posture.
I put it out there. It's out there. There's no point in regretting it.
I think people focus too much on the past and focus too much on regret. Even like when you deal with schools, like you take like the slave idea. My point is, I've heard of history class. I've never heard of a class that breaks down how you balance a checkbook or how you control your finances, which my father never taught me that. And I've never heard of future class. So they keep us so focused.
All right, so this is really important to pay attention at here. He's heard of a history class, and what he's saying is right now, mankind, we live in the past. We reflect too much. We focus on the past, and being a Christian, I know that this is how the devil snags people. The devil will snag them with their regrets, or they'll live in the past. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people will think about the past too much, live in the past, and since they reflect on it too much, and may it be, bad experiences or maybe good experiences, their whole life is passing them by while that person is, thinking of the past, living in the past. And another thing he brings up is the importance of money. There not being a money class or whatever, because the money is the tool that will help you build your future. And then the thing about the future class is he don't hear nothing about, okay, we heard about the past, but we don't hear nothing about how can you build up your future being taught into a curriculum. And this isn't just, motivational speaking type classes. This is like, okay, look, this is the hard line plan. This is the path I want to take. This is the education I got to get, the certifications, the degrees I got to snag. This is the experience I got to get. This is the company I got to work for. So, and this is my 5-year, 10-year plan, and then going through with it. These are the steps I'm going to take, and I'm going to act them out. So I think that's where Kanye West was coming from when he said a future class. And I completely agree with him. People are so focused on the past and here and now. They ain't living for the future. And money is an important tool to build for the future.
It's on history that we start to believe that it actually repeats itself. and we become overly traditional, and we can't advance as a race of beings. We get too caught up in the past and what everyone's saying and what everyone's tweeting, and sometimes you just have to be fearless enough.
There's Kanye, you know,
the simulation. And when I mean simulation, this is what I mean by the simulation. You know. Sorry, I know you guys wanted to clap, but everything I'm gonna say is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I got some for that simulation.
Here's an idea why you're in a simulation. Let's start with acting, first of all. And a 2-year-old screams at a restaurant, the entire restaurant screams, teach that kid how to act. We're all unpaid actors in some giant script that we didn't write. Simulation, a 2-year-old jumps on a coffee table and
we're all some unpaid actors in a, you know, and he's basically, I think that kind of sounds like Shakespeare, you know, all the world is a stage, or, you know, something like that. But when he uses that example, it showcases the, you know, in that example, that you don't have any control over your future or whatever. You know, you got to live according to script.
Someone says, that's a coffee table, don't jump on that. So it went from being something that makes him feel like Superman, he's got his cape on, to something where he has to think about this person's like a family member he doesn't like anyway. He's 2 years old, he doesn't give about a coffee or a table. And he's starting to like calculate all these things. And by the time you're 40 years old, you've got a wall full of coffee tables calculating you into traffic, calculating you into your career choice, calculating you.
So what he's explained about is child psychology and how it can be exploited through this example. And through the adults placing that barrier in front of the child, it actually becomes kind of like a mental prison. And that mental prison, those dots that are formulated, and then those dots that are then connected become a part of that child's identity, and then the child's entire future is defined off of that.
To this townhouse that's not quite as big as the townhouse next, and it just never works. You know, that's the simulation that I'm talking. That's what I mean when I say simulation.
I think I understand what you're saying.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
But also, you know, maybe people don't want the kid
simulation,
to get hurt,
becoming who you are through experience. I got you.
We are too protective. We always don't want someone to get hurt. Can you imagine me talking to my publicist before I said I'm going on TV again? Like I'm going on.
You should be wearing a helmet.
I'm going on TV because
talking to the publicist before going on TV. You should be wearing a helmet. I mean, I know we're kind of joking or whatever, but you know, I don't know if that's kind of seemed like a little sly threat. You know what I mean? Hey, you know, you hate it, Kanye. You so hate it. You know, you need a helmet. And I mean, damn, you know, is that gonna be a headshot? Like, what the hell is he insinuating?
It's awesome. Like, I love Jimmy. We can have a dialogue
after that. What he said about that,
and not a diatribe. You know, it's like we can. I got that from Sarah Jessica Parker.
Is that right?
Yeah. Shout out. Shout out to that part. But you know, it's one of the things I think it got missed on TMZ is the main thing that I was stressing is the idea of trying love. You know, we're always, you know, pushing out so much hate, and love can cure so much. Just to think, am I moving in love? It's just out of love, not out of pride. Pride is a word that people often say in a positive connotation, but it's actually one of the 7 deadly sins.
So now, you know, he's talking about love, and you know, I think he's not saying God. He's not saying God. But you know, God is love and life and the truth. So, you know, he's talking about one of the characteristics of God, which is love, you know, because you have to remember this image that Kanye represents. The last time when he did this Candace Owens interview, it was talking about how he's about that emotion, he's about the feeling, so he's sticking true to his character, his image, and he's using love as a good example because this hate, and I have to make another video explaining how it works, but it's this hatred that's divided us, and once we divide it, we're easily controlled. So he sticks with the whole love.
And it takes too much ownership, but you can replace pride with love.
Pride, he get religious, slipping in that God.
When I see people just even like go at the president, it's like, why not try love for one person to stand up against all odds and just hug somebody the way that Alice Johnson hugged her family when she got out of jail? That one by one, we can defuse this nuclear bomb of hate that we're in as a society by thinking of everyone as our family. And how would we treat our kids? How would we treat our
I think that's a beautiful thought, but in literal terms, there are families being torn apart at the border of this country.
So Kanye, he gives that example. You see what I'm saying? And he's talking about love and using it for people to come together as opposed to being divided. So now they're actually having a linguistic tit for tat competition. Everybody's gonna look at. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So as you can see, he had, Kanye West, he had this beautiful thought, it makes absolute perfect sense to me, knowing what I know with my life experience. But now Jimmy Kimmel was attempting to take away the appeal. He's got to water it down. He's gonna have to deflect. Because that really stuck with a lot of people who may have said that. So his angle is going to be the emotional appeal. He said, okay. He said, love, let me piggyback off this love. Now, if you all about love, why are these kids getting separated from their kids? Or I'm sorry, why are these kids getting separated from their parents?
There are literally families being torn apart as a result of
literally.
What this president
so one's talking metaphorically.
That,
he's talking literally.
Whether we like his personality or not, his actions are really what matter. I mean, you so famously and so powerfully said.
So as one is talking, through, I guess, allegory, metaphor, or whatever, the other one is hoping to get the moral high ground. Jimmy Kimmel is hoping to get the moral high ground because he's like, okay, I'll piggyback off his emotion, and then I'll say literally, so it comes off as factual. And since it comes off as factual, it should appeal better with the audience because his comes off as metaphorical, So, I mean, this is what's going on, And with all that being said, I got to give it to both of these guys. They're very, very intelligent.
George Bush doesn't care about black people. It makes me wonder what makes you think that Donald Trump
now he's attacking his past
at all.
And he connected it through the party, Republican Party.
Come back and Kanye West.
See, now Kanye, he's like, dang, man, he got me in the corner. Let me figure this out. What I'm gonna do? Because these guys these guys that are elite, these guys that are very, very influential at the top, there's certain rules they got to play by, And I'm just a lowly, regular Christian dude, And as much as I might say God, or I might say Satan, or I might say something, one time I saw on YouTube that the Bushes were in Skull and Bone Society. He's not gonna go there. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean by the rules that they play by. So he's like, okay, let me figure this out.
Yeah. His album's called
You got him good right there.
Cover. We just got this magazine, Bizarre Magazine. There you are with the kids. So they're very, very cute.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You know, because when Kanye did this, everybody currently knows that the American population birth rate, well, not everybody. Let me just say it. The birth rate in America is very, very bad. I think last time I checked, it was in the negative. So I appreciate you. Thank you very much, Kanye, for doing this, because it projects the image out there that family is important. You know what I'm saying? The beauty, the sanctity of children.
Climbing on your head. Do you dress them? Do you pick their outfits? Mm-hmm. You do. Is that fun for you? Mm-hmm. Do you design outfits for them? Mm-hmm. You do. Mm-hmm. Do they love that? I mean, do they understand that process, that you draw something and then it becomes their clothes?
Yeah, my daughter went to a fashion camp for 5 days a couple weeks ago, and I visited her, and we put the thread through the sewing machine, and it really brought me to tears to think about the 15 years that I've been working on apparel, and for my friend Virgil to be the head of Louis Vuitton, and for me to have this, you know.
So he's connecting the struggle that he had going into, you know, like fashion design industry, and all the fruits of his labor that came from it. And he's taking all of that and he's connecting it with parenthood. And he's basically saying experience is the best teacher. This is the appeal he's going to make. Yeah, and connect it with parenthood.
$1.8 billion company out of, a thread going through. And my daughter asked me, Daddy, do you have a sewing machine like this at your office? And I brought her to my office, and she did a bunch of sketches. And my head pattern cutter made her dresses right there.
Really?
For her. So she loves coming to the office and doing sketches.
Boy, that's so much
that's
more
how
fun
you can
office.
Get children to learn, ignite their passion through experience, teach through hands-on.
Is about, if you're in the song, and correct me if I have any of this wrong, you're imagining your daughter as an adult dating and men looking at her. Mm-hmm. And you're very, very worked up about this. Prematurely, some might say.
Some might say,
about that? You think
as a father, hell, well, any father who gives a damn gonna worry about their daughter or care about their daughter.
And you actually are imagining like guys objectifying. Do you feel like your attitude towards women has changed since having daughters?
Nah, I still look at Pornhub and.
I can't believe it. I'm sorry, man. Let me pause that right quick. So he's just saying, look, I ain't perfect. I'm human. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a man. I got needs, and it is what it is. So that didn't change it. He said Pornhub. What the hell, man? Don't look at no porn. Don't look at no porn. Come on, man.
What kind of stuff do you look at? What categories?
Oh my God, Jimmy, get out of there.
Blacked is my favorite category.
He said blacked.
You don't have to go into that. I mean, you can.
Too late, Jimmy. You asked me.
What's the point of being Kanye West if you can't? Let's break down the porn categories.
The porn categories.
a lot of black on white, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
That swirl shit.
It's mirroring your own self, your own situation.
My own reality.
Yeah, right. It's like doubly masturbating in a way, if you think about it.
How do you do that?
Mirroring your own life experience. So, I just want to put this out there. The information that you take in can sort of put you on the path to living out that information. So he's like, as Jimmy Kimmel was saying, look, if you looking at porn, you just kind of copying what your life experience is. Well, on the flip side, if I guess guys were to look at that information, much like if a kid gets exposed to, bad influences, then maybe it might influence the if the man's looking at, let's say, interracial porn, maybe it might influence his sexual preferences. So the only reason why I'm bringing this up, because this interview is about free thought and it is about simulations, and this, everything I'm talking about is built upon that.
That double.
I'll show you after the show.
No, I don't want
to. Oh my God! He said, no, I don't want to.
You have some really heavy songs. One of them is called "I Thought About Killing You." Is that song about somebody in particular? And is it me?
He putting it out there like, yeah, we're at adversity.
Emailed me after that song came out and said that they had their mom had passed away and that they had taken 60 pills and that they tried to kill themselves, and they wrote at the end of it, premeditated murder. So it's
and that is refrained in that you say premeditated murder. That came from somebody writing you?
No, after the song came out, but saying that this person taking these pills and trying to kill themselves was a form of premeditated murder.
Sure.
And what I said is, like, people are so afraid to face what we're actually dealing with, whether it's opioid addiction, whether it's suicide, whether it's all these things. We just want to we want to put a patina on it and not face it. And I think the breakthrough for that album, for me, I don't do old versions of music. I'm looking to just find something new. The breakthrough was to be able to have a song called "I Thought About Killing You" in this super PC Hollywood, you can't say nothing wrong day and age. It's like Kanye West's first song, "I Thought About Killing You," and take you through the thoughts. The other day I tweeted, "How to Not Kill Yourself, Part 1." Because when you're an artist and you're creative and you want to give so much to the world against all odds, there's times when you can go into that place. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but the how-to was don't be around people who make you want to kill yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That was good advice.
That was the first one. I was inspired.
So, this is basically Kanye saying, everybody, they kind of got their little niche. But this work that he put out, he was actually intending to address, some real world problems, and yeah, I agree with you, Kanye. Everybody's afraid to talk about what's really wrong. And I think the reason why everybody's afraid to talk about what's really wrong is because, number one, they're lazy. They don't want to try to come to a solution or even talk about anything because they want to worry about themselves. Or number two, they're probably partially guilty because maybe they contributed to part of those problems. But regardless of whatever it may be, you can't be afraid to have a discussion, to put the words out there, to put that energy out there. Because once you put that energy out there, something's going to click in people's minds. Then they're going to be able to identify, hey, wait, something ain't right here. And then eventually they're going to be like, okay, wait, something ain't right. Now I know what's wrong. Let me stop, Right
after this Alexander McQueen film, because a beautiful, amazing artist that killed himself, and he always would talk about it. He even designed his own casket, and I've thought of casket
so
design.
Kanye, he just putting his own work out there. That's how he do it.
Mm-hmm. So
it's funny, but not funny, really, though, because it's when you have thoughts like that, you have to be careful and talk to people.
Yeah, but you have to be careful and not be careful, just be expressive and understand that all these people are sensitive people. Like, you get these celebrities and they get a bad photo.
So, you got to be expressive. You got to be, so it's like, look, don't hold it in. Ever heard of a ticking time bomb or the water heater, and if you hold it in, then the fire turns up and then the water heater, it eventually boils over, but it's kind of like that type of example. Don't hold it in, because then it's going to blow up and then you might get depressed or you might get addicted. You might commit suicide, holding it in. So express yourself.
And everyone just tears them all the way to shreds, and you forget
reputation.
Son,
that's why everybody's scared.
And I think I fight for
to express themselves.
I fight for all of us.
Well, you have a lot of empathy, I guess, if that's the way you're thinking.
I do have a lot of empathy.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a break, and we'll come back with Kanye West.
Yeah.
We're back with Kanye West. This is his album. It's called Yang. It's a beautiful photograph. You recorded this up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and not only this, but you put out 5 other albums with other artists that you produced within like a month-long period of time. That's a ton of work. Are you a workaholic? Are you always working?
No, I actually slept a lot during the project.
While they were recording?
So Kanye, he's real passionate about this.
We worked together.
He ain't just trying to do a little something.
After I got out the hospital.
He's really trying to put some positive vibes, some positivity out there.
And I just started chopping up samples, and it's very therapeutic.
And I feel like he's doing it. He's going overtime because it's that bad. It's really become that bad.
It was therapeutic just to listen to those songs and sample and go back to being 14 years old in my mom's house. And by the time it was time to do to put the albums out, we have a whole team at Yeezy Sound that will help come and do the drums, help with lyrics, help with choruses. And I'd give like 6-7 people ideas that I want on the song, and I just go to sleep and just wait from there.
You're working while you sleep. That's a hard worker, right?
I have to get it.
So what I'm getting from that is like, Yeezy's like, okay, look, I set the foundation. I put out a couple ideas, and then I have my workers do the work. So the way that it's accomplished is not a one-man team. He lays the foundation, but see, he ain't trying to take it all the credit. And then number 2, he ain't trying to hold all the knowledge to himself. He ain't trying to keep all the ideas to himself. He's helping his workers out, and he's having him put it together while he go to sleep. So it's emphasizing, team power. And even though he may be the main one in charge, he keep it like a team.
I feel like you avoided this album title.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean,
but it stands right here on the
I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. I have a theory about you, so tell me if this is correct. Mm-hmm. I feel like you feel like being bipolar is part of what makes you brilliant, part of what makes you, and you embrace
Jimmy Kimmel, he being bitter. He don't want to promote the album.
Another one of those things where people are like, how are you going to talk about it? The funny thing is, this is something I was like on the internet before. It was kind of funny, but it's not an opposite. It's not I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. It's actually, it drives more of how you really feel. It doesn't do an opposite thing. So I think it's important for us to have conversations about, open conversations about mental health, especially with me being Black, because we never had therapists in the Black community. We never approached.
So now Kanye West is making sure to address the Black community directly. You see what I'm saying? At the beginning, it was indirectly, but now it's just straight up directly, and he's doing the identity politics. And guess what? It's going to be so successful because you got to take into account who's the audience that looks at this usually. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You see? And, these guys are coordinating and they're working together, with the president and I say with Fox News and TMZ and Turning Point USA. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now you got little guys like myself, you know what I'm saying, who would somebody work with me? Who's to know? But I could always say, look, I'm always willing, to be a team player, win-win. And I'm always willing to be reciprocal, and that's really the main thing about this, man.
It's like taking medication. And I think it's good that when I had my first complete blackout at age 5, my mom didn't fully medicate me because
Black people don't get professional help.
Gay, and there's times where
you know?
At least I'm
and if
happy
he took
that
those
I know,
pills,
like,
he lost his creativity.
I knew I wanted to stay in a calm state because by the time I got to TMZ, I was ramped up. So what was awesome is that the world got to really experience someone in a ramped up state, and that's when you get these comments that just shoot out, like almost like.
So what he was saying is, I went to TMZ, and yeah, I was ramped up. Yeah, I might have been a little eccentric, but guess what? I was being real. You know, and while I was being ramped up and all this, you know.
Tourette's.
Because you have highs and lows. And when you have a high, you're on a roll. When you have a low, you're not.
Well, there's some cases of bipolar where people go low. I'm one that goes high. Like Michelle Obama said.
So you don't have extreme periods of depression?
Oh, no.
Oh,
no. Because I just say it. I'll say on real TV, like, oh, I thought about killing myself, and then the thought is gone.
So there you go. Yet again, like I said at the earlier, towards the middle, don't hold it in. Don't hold it in. You know, he was just talking about the Black community. So connecting these dots, you know, it's expected for a Black man to hold these things in, the struggles or whatever he's going on. You see what I'm saying? And that's why he thinks it's important to discuss mental health issues. And then he's using himself as an example. It's like, shit, I got problems. I ain't holding it in. It's just, bleh, I feel like killing myself. I'm done with it. You know, and he's absolutely right, because how, you know, the past, he ain't gonna be living in the past when he gets it out and he lets it go. He ain't gonna be reflecting. He ain't gonna be stuck in his mind. You see what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of these mental health issues come from. You know, people could forget about the world around them, and they stuck in their mind. So he said it. He let it out.
Wow.
You feel better.
So all people need to do is get on TV. That's really the solution.
Well, there you go, Jimmy. Watering it down. It ain't about getting on TV.
Of judgment.
This dude, this dude always bouncing from one extreme to the other. You know what I'm saying? And that pisses me off that he does that stuff. But he does it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And Yeezy always got to bring it back, you know, because he'll say something, and then Jimmy Kimmel got to go all the ways to the extreme opposite. He ain't said, oh, I want, let me express myself on TV so everybody can see me. But Jimmy Kimmel insinuates that. You know, he's just saying, express yourself, talk, find a constructive way, to work out your problems.
Telling people is like, who do you know? And let's go, especially Black men, but I'm 41 years old.
Especially Black men.
I don't know anyone, that up as much as I have. That's still.
So he's trying to give this message of hope to Black men now. Look, circumstances might have been bad. Yeah, against all odds. Yeah, mental health issues. Yeah, you've been holding it in. You can't let it out. You can't express yourself. Monolithic thought. These are all the cue words. These are all the connections that are coming together. And he's finishing it off like, yeah, and all those things come together, and you made mistakes in your life. But it ain't over.
As successful. Uh-huh. So I want to prove that you can get fat, you can say the wrong things, you can piss a whole
and you can be president of the United States.
Well, yeah, it's yeah.
So he's saying, you can do this, that, and the other. And as much as Kanye was going to be like, yeah, look at me, I did all this and I can still succeed. Trying to give this message of hope, of victor mentality, while these NFL players want to kneel and give victim mentality. You know what I'm saying? While these NFL players want to live their life on their knees, Kanye West talking about stand up. And then Jimmy Kimmel, he said, wait, hold on, I'm not going to let you finish off there, buddy. I'm not going to let you finish off with this positive message. Donald Trump. He had to do it, man. He had to take that side swipe because guess what? It shows the world how pissed off the liberal establishment is and how desperate that they've become.
Yeah. There's one person. Kanye West, everybody. This is his album. It's called Yeah. I am Jimmy Kimmel. I hope you enjoyed that video. Hit subscribe and all your dreams will come true, assuming your dreams are to watch more YouTube videos.
So, that's that.
First guest tonight was President of the United
That's that. And looking at the video, I don't think that I saw the very beginning when they was talking about the accomplishments of Kanye West. And then at the end of this interview, I don't think I heard the entire title that he's supposed to be saying. And you know what? Look, I'm gonna just say this. That editing, whoever edited that video to kind of, I admit I might be wrong, but if I'm not wrong, whoever edited that video to kind of hold that information out, you ain't as sneaky as you think. And that was kind of wrong, man. Jimmy, put your differences aside, bro. Put your differences aside and just, look, man, you did this, and that. Keep it in the video. Promote Homeboy's album, say the title, read the title, and let it go, man. So, anyways, that's all about that video, and that's my interpretation on the Kanye West interview. Kanye, thank you very much for everything you do, man. You keep on hustling, you keep grinding, you keep on stacking up that money. You keep on being a positive role model to all these black men out here. You know what? Because between this liberal establishment and the Democrat KKK party, everybody's in on that nasty little secret with the black community now. See, everybody was in on it before, but now everybody knows. Everybody waking up to the black community being held down. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I believe Kanye West put that message of hope out, especially for black men. Because being a black man in America, I could be fair. And I can sit here and I can empathize with them NFL players. But I'm not going to sit here and say my entire country's racist. My entire U.S. history is racist, because that's a damn lie. You want to sit here, you want to place the blame, you want to point the finger, then point it at the right person, because not everything is racist. So anybody who listens to this, please like, subscribe. I hope you enjoy this video, and I'm going to continue making some more videos. And God bless you. And God bless you, Kanye West, for going out there doing what you do, man, every day. You have a good day.